Navy SEAL dies for strangers pushes mother from speeding car drunk driver. Who killed him gets 8 years. What happens next destroys. Everyone killer becomes paramedic saves SEAL's daughter 12 years. Later widow faces impossible choice that changes 43 lives forever. The drunk driver who killed Navy SEAL Lieutenant Ryan Mitchell looked through the windshield for half a second before impact and saw something that haunted him for 12 years. Ryan's face wasn't scared, wasn't angry, just calm and focused. The expression of a man who'd already decided a stranger's life mattered more than his own. And that look, that half second of eye contact between killer and victim, destroyed Marcus Webb completely and rebuilt him into something nobody expected. Something that would force Ryan's widow, Jennifer, to make the most impossible choice of her life when the man who killed her husband saved their daughter Emma 12 years later using the same fearless courage Ryan showed in his final breath. Screen shows suburban Virginia Street, October evening. Ryan dropping groceries and sprinting toward a mother with a stroller as Marcus Webb's car swerves at 50 miles per hour. The moment of impact frozen Ryan's body ebon. Marcus stumbling from his car so drunk he falls twice. And Ryan's last words before dying aren't, "Help me, but check the baby. Is the baby okay?" Caring about strangers with his final breath. And those words broke Marcus's soul into pieces. He'd spent 12 years trying to reassemble differently. But wait, you need to understand what happened in the courtroom, because this is where it gets psychologically devastating. Where Jennifer Mitchell sat front row every single day watching Marcus cry, watching him mouth, "I'm sorry," watching his baby face crack with guilt. And here's what nobody tells you about grief. Sometimes you want to hate the person who destroyed your life, but they look so broken themselves that hatred feels pointless. Like screaming at a child. And Marcus was 23 looking 19. And when his lawyer argued, addiction is a disease, Jennifer wanted to scream because Ryan never made the choice that killed him, but Marcus made it every time he drank. Made it the night he got behind the wheel with 0.19 blood alcohol, more than twice the legal limit. Made it after 2 previous doers. The prosecutor wanted 20 years. Showed photos of Ryan's daughters Emma age 6 and Sophie age 4 at their father's funeral asking, "When is Daddy coming home from heaven?" And Jennifer testified, said, "My husband survived for combat deployments, 127 missions, got shot twice, survived an IED blast, came home from war zones and died on a Tuesday afternoon because Marcus Webb decided getting drunk mattered more than people's lives. And now my daughters draw pictures of Daddy as an angel, and Marcus gets to hug his parents and Sunday walk free while Emma and Sophie never feel their father's arms again." And when the judge sentenced Marcus to 8 years with parole in 5, Jennifer walked out, feeling justice was a word invented by people who'd never lost everything. Screen shows Jennifer on witness stand, voice breaking but strong. Marcus with face buried in hands sobbing, his mother crying, Ryan's SEAL brothers stone-faced with rage, and the judge wiping his eyes, everyone destroyed. And Jennifer walks out thinking 8 years doesn't equal Ryan's life, doesn't equal her daughters growing up fatherless, doesn't equal anything. 3 months into Marcus's sentence, the first letter arrived. Shaky handwriting like a child's. "Mrs. Mitchell, I know you hate me, and you should. But I need to tell you what I remember your husband's face through my windshield, looking at me for half a second before I hit him. And he wasn't scared, just determined. Like he'd made his decision and nothing would change it. And Mrs. Mitchell, I think about what kind of man runs toward death to save strangers. What kind of courage that takes. And I'm going to spend every remaining day trying to become that kind of man. Trying to become someone worthy of your husband's sacrifice. And I know this sounds empty, but I swear I mean it. I'm going to transform completely. Become someone who saves lives instead of taking them." Jennifer burned that letter, held it over the sink and watched it turn to ash because she didn't want Marcus's promises. Wanted Ryan back. Wanted the universe to rewind to that Tuesday and make Ryan walk a different route. 5 seconds slower. Any variation where he lived and Marcus crashed into a tree. But letters kept coming. Every week for 2 years. 100 for letters Jennifer never answered, but couldn't stop reading. Letters documenting Marcus's transformation AA meetings where he admitted, "I'm Marcus. I'm an alcoholic. I killed a Navy SEAL, GED classes, college courses." Volunteer work teaching inmates to read, and impossibly the letters changed from apologies to reports. From seeking forgiveness to documenting change. And Jennifer watched Marcus Webb dismantle himself and rebuild using Ryan's life as the blueprint. Letter 47 said, "I completed EMT certification, stood perfect on every test. And the instructor asked why I wanted to be a paramedic, and I told him about your husband. Told him I'm going to spend my life running toward danger like Lieutenant Mitchell did. Going to save lives because I took one. And Mrs. Mitchell, I am setting up a fund from my prison wages. 50% of everything goes to your daughter's education. It's only $37 monthly now. But when I'm out, I'll send more. Something tangible, not just words. Screen shows Jennifer at kitchen table with 2 years of letters stacked. Reading number 47. Emma walks in asking, who writes you letters? And Jennifer said, someone who made a terrible mistake. And Emma says, did they say sorry? And Jennifer says, every week for 2 years. And Emma says, Daddy always said everyone deserves a second chance if they really change. And Jennifer stares at her daughter, at Ryan's words from Ryan's child's mouth, and something cracks in her chest. Not forgiveness, but the possibility of it. Tiny and painful like white through broken glass, Jennifer showed the letter to Colonel Mitchell, her father, retired Marine who'd wanted Marcus to get life, and he read it slowly and said, he's either the greatest con artist or he's actually transforming. And I don't know which is worse, because if he's genuine, it means Ryan's death created something good. And I don't want Ryan's death to mean anything except loss. Don't want silver linings or redemption. But if this kid is real, then what do we do? And Jennifer had no answer because both options felt like betrayal. Hating Marcus meant staying trapped in anger forever. Accepting his change meant admitting Ryan's death had purpose. And she didn't want purpose, wanted senseless and reversible. But 100 for letters over 2 years showed Marcus earning his GED with 3.9 GPA, completing 12 college courses with straight A's, becoming the prison's lead A sponsor, helping 17 inmates get sober, volunteering 800 hours teaching literacy, accumulating $1,920 for Emma and Sophie $37 at a time every week without fail. Action, not words. Proof, not promises. And when Marcus came up for parole, Jennifer wrote one sentence to the board. If he's genuine, let him prove it outside where it matters, not inside where it's safe. Marcus got parole after 5 years. Walked out on a Tuesday, same day he'd killed Ryan, and his first stop was Arlington Cemetery. Ryan's grave in section 60, where Marcus knelt for 3 hours having a one-sided conversation. And when he left, he placed a letter under a rock. Lieutenant Mitchell, I'm out now. Free while you're here forever because of me. And that's not fair, but it's what it is. And I'm keeping my promise. Becoming the man you showed me in that half second. Going to save lives. Run toward danger. Be someone your family can acknowledge without hatred. And sir, I am making your death mean something, even if it kills me trying. Screen shows Marcus at the grave in rain. Head bowed, lips moving. Camera pulling back to show endless white headstones. Marcus, one living person among thousands of dead warriors trying to earn the right to be in their prisons through service, not death. Marcus enrolled in paramedic training. Worked 2 jobs to pay for it. Lived in Virginia Beach, same city as Jennifer. Didn't run, but moved toward his past, and 10 months later, Virginia Beach Fire Department hired him despite his record because the chief said, I called his references. Everyone says this kid transformed completely. And if he's genuine, he'll be our best hire. And when the newspaper ran an article, the comments exploded. Murderer doesn't deserve second chances. Should still be in prison, but Jennifer didn't comment. Just watched as Marcus started saving lives. 3 years passed. Marcus saved 17 lives. Kept a journal with every name, every date, and wrote at the bottom of each entry for Lieutenant Ryan Mitchell, who showed me what heroism looks like. And Jennifer knew because the fire chief called annually saying, Ma'am, work is exceptional. Volunteers for every dangerous call. First in, last out. Saved 17 lives. Talks about your husband constantly. Uses him as his North Star. And Jennifer didn't know if Marcus's success made Ryan's death meaningful or exploitative. Didn't know if she should feel proud or disgusted. Wanted simple hatred, but got complicated redemption. Got proof that change might be real. And she didn't know what to do except carry it like Ryan carried strangers to safety. Painfully, but refusing to put it down. Then came the call that changed everything. Children's Hospital, Mrs. Mitchell. Emma's been in a serious car accident. T-boned by a truck. Severe head trauma. Critical condition. But the paramedics saved her life. Stopped the bleeding. Stabilized her spine. She'd be dead without them. And one asked me to give you this. And the doctor handed Jennifer a blood-stained note. Mrs. Mitchell, the paramedic who treated Emma was me. Marcus wept. Didn't know until I saw her license. Saw her name, calculated she'd be 14. Lieutenant Mitchell's daughter who lost her father because of me. And I gave Emma every skill I've learned, stopped her temporal artery bleeding, intubated her, rode in the ambulance monitoring every vital. And she's strong like her father. She's fighting. And I know saving your daughter doesn't unsave your husband. But I promised I'd prove it. And tonight, I kept that promise using skills I only have because he died. And that's your husband's legacy. Through me, a paramedic who saved his daughter 12 years later. Screen shows Jennifer reading the note, hands shaking, Sophie crying beside her, Colonel Mitchell behind them, and Jennifer says, I don't know how to feel. Ryan saved Marcus by dying, and Marcus saved Emma by living, and I don't know if that's beautiful or horrible, and her father says it's both. That's what forgiveness is, holding opposite truths simultaneously. Emma survived, recovered fully, and when conscious Jennifer showed her the note and Emma said, Emoem, I remember him. The paramedic kept me conscious saying, stay with me, Emma. Your father didn't save that mother and baby so you could give up. You're a Mitchell. You're a fighter. And he knew Daddy. Used Daddy's story to keep me alive. And Jennifer realized Marcus had saved Emma not just with medical skill but psychological warfare. Had used Ryan's heroism to give Emma a reason to fight. Had turned Ryan's death into Emma's survival. And that impossible loop finally broke Jennifer's resistance to forgiveness's possibility. 6 months later, Jennifer did what she'd sworn never to do, called Marcus. Said, this is Jennifer Mitchell. I need to meet you face to face. Arlington, my husband's grave. Saturday noon. And Marcus said, I'll be there. Thank you for this chance. Saturday came. Jennifer arrived with Emma and Sophie. And at noon Marcus appeared in his paramedic uniform and stopped 20 feet away waiting for permission. And Jennifer said, come here. And Marcus approached slowly and said, Mrs. Mitchell, Emma, Sophie, I've saved 43 lives in 3 years. 43 people alive because Lieutenant Mitchell showed me what heroism looks like. And everyone I tell about your husband, tell them they're alive because a Navy SEAL taught me that running toward danger is what real men do. Jennifer reached into her purse and pulled out the folded American flag from Ryan's funeral. Said, this covered my husband's coffin for 12 years, and I'm giving it to you. Not because you've earned it or deserve it, but because Ryan would want the man saving lives in his name to carry something reminding you the weight of what you're doing. And Marcus, this doesn't mean I forgive you. Doesn't mean we're okay. Doesn't mean my daughters and I don't grieve every day. But it means I acknowledge what you've become. Acknowledge you kept your promise. Acknowledge Ryan's death created something meaningful through you. Screen shows. All four at the grave. Marcus taking the flag with shaking hands like it's made of glass, and Emma steps forward. 14 years old, says Marcus. I don't remember my dad. I was 6, but I remember you in the ambulance keeping me alive. And I don't forgive you for killing my dad, but I thank you for saving my life. And those two things exist together, and that's okay. And Sophie, 12, says, I barely remember Daddy, but Mommy says you've saved 43 people and Daddy would want those people alive, so keep doing what you're doing. Keep making Daddy's death mean something. Today. 9 years after that Arlington meeting, Marcus Webb has saved 127 lives, exact same number of missions Ryan Mitchell completed, and when Marcus reached 127 last month, he called Jennifer and said, I hit 127 today. Same as Lieutenant Mitchell's missions, and I'm done counting. Done trying to balance scales because they'll never balance. But I'm not counting anymore, just living. Just saving lives. Just running toward danger because that's who I am now. Who your husband made me. Jennifer works with Mad now and tells Ryan's and Marcus's stories as one story. Tells audiences my husband was killed by a drunk driver who spent 12 years becoming the man my husband was. And I don't forgive him. Probably never will. But I acknowledge him. Recognize transformation is possible if someone commits completely. And Marcus killed my husband but saved 127 lives including my daughters. And those facts exist together. And living with that contradiction is what forgiveness looks like, not forgetting, not excusing, but acknowledging people can change. That drunk drivers can become heroes. That the person who destroyed your life can help build others. Marcus stands at these conferences and says, Mrs. Mitchell is right. I'll never deserve her acknowledgement. Never deserve the flag she gave me. Never deserve the transformation Lieutenant Mitchell's death created. But everyone needs to know if you've made terrible choices, hurt people, destroyed lives. You can change completely, but it takes everything. Takes 12 years running toward danger. Takes 127 lives saved. Takes never touching alcohol again. Takes moving to your victim's city. Takes writing unanswered letters for 2 years. Takes keeping promises nobody asked for. That's what real change looks like. And it still doesn't fix what you broke, but it creates something new that honors their memory by becoming who they were. Screen shows Jennifer speaking at Mad Conference. Marcus in audience in uniform. Emma 23 and Sophie 21 beside him. And after Jennifer finishes, Marcus stands saying he'll follow Lieutenant Mitchell's blueprint until he dies with that flag on his coffin, trying to be worthy of the sacrifice. And that's not redemption or forgiveness, just transformation. The only justice available when justice is impossible. If you're carrying hatred for someone who hurt you, wondering whether people really change, stuck between forgiveness and revenge. Here's what Jennifer learned over 12 years. You don't have to forgive to acknowledge transformation. Don't have to forget to witness change. Don't have to like someone to recognize they've become different. And Marcus killed her husband. It saved 127 others, including her daughter. And those facts coexist. And living with that coexistence is harder than hatred, but necessary for survival. Necessary for honoring the dead by refusing to let their deaths trap the living in permanent rage. And that's what Ryan's final heroic act teaches, that one moment of selflessness echoes through decades, through transformations, through 127 saved lives, through a drunk driver becoming someone a Navy SEAL would respect. And that's legacy. That's what it means when a hero dies for strangers. Sometimes strangers become heroes themselves. Sometimes killers become lifesavers. Sometimes tragedy transforms into purpose if we're brave enough to witness it. And Jennifer and her daughters and Marcus prove that the most complicated truths are often most important that people can change. Transformation is possible. Drunk drivers can become paramedics. The person who destroys your world can help rebuild others. And you can acknowledge that without forgiving it. Witness transformation without celebrating it. Say, I see what you've become, though I'll never forget what you did. And both things are true. And living with that contradiction beats staying broken forever, because Ryan didn't die saving strangers so Jennifer could stay broken. He died showing everyone what heroism looks like. And part of heroism is letting people become better even when you want them worse. And that's what Jennifer does, what her daughters do. What 127 saved lives prove that one SEAL's death created transformation, still rippling 12 years later, still saving people, still proving heroism doesn't end when heroes die. It just changes hands, passes to whoever's brave enough to pick it up and carry it forward. And Marcus picked it up and carries it, and Jennifer acknowledges that even though it destroys her, because truth matters more than comfort, and the truth is her husband's death meant something, created something, transformed someone, and that has to be enough. And it is enough, barely, painfully, but enough.